Yes.
All right, everybody, it's 6:30. We're in full group. So, welcome to Friends of Madison Park Neighborhood Meeting. And I'm going to go through a few things, a few updates of what's been happening in the neighborhood and a few things that are coming up. And I never can see what this says, but I trust you, Kevin.
You're supposed to read the minutes first. I didn't put that.
Well, the minutes, okay, we can do, the minutes we have decided in the future it is going to be handled by the board. It's just the 7 members of the board to approve the minutes. But because no one has ever seen the minutes other than the board members, so this makes a little more sense. But we were doing it electronically tonight, or earlier this afternoon, and we had a vote, and the minutes are approved, so we can move on.
Party for the park.
Huh?
Party for the park. Alpha.
Party for the park. So I don't know how many people from here came. Maybe why don't you come on up?
Who was it? Party for the park? Who partied for the park?
Yes!
Thank you so much. It was absolutely a wonderful night. Well, at least I thought so. I hope that you did too. We had about 200 people come to the Seattle Tennis Club, and it was definitely a party. We had a really great time. We had amazing auction items. Our neighborhood businesses really came through with incredible live and silent auction items, and they all sold. And we had a really fun time all squeezing into the ballroom and doing the live auction and the pedal raise, and we raised $115,000. With all the generosity, and it was thanks to our incredible planning team. Without them, this never would have happened. It was hours and hours of work, and we just kept telling ourselves, next year this will be easier. And it was a big learning curve. And then our day of volunteers were crucial. They really made the night go so smoothly. The tennis club was lovely, the service was incredible, and we can't wait to do it again. So if you weren't there, you have to come next year, and if you were there, you know what to expect, and then hopefully it'll be better. So, yay, thank you.
And you could go ahead and on your 2025 calendar, put a save the date. We're shooting for October 11th. I believe it is Saturday, October 11th.
Yes, there's
So-
no Husky game.
No Husky game.
It's not Yom Kippur.
It's not going to be.
It's, I think if anybody has any ideas about that date, that is a problem, please let us know.
Yes.
It's
We
hard
don't
to
know if
pick a
it's a Seahawks game, it's too early, so anyway, we're trying to pick a date that works for everyone. I did want to just give a few details on what we're doing as the board and the executive committee. The executive committee met a few nights ago, and we're going to continue working on our systems, working on events, working on our website, all sorts of things. We've got a meeting, and it's probably going to be an all-day meeting on November 8th to start pulling pieces together. If you do have comments or feedback on how the website works for you, or the newsletter works for you, or doesn't, please pass that along to us, because we are in the process of just making adjustments as we go along. We've made a few changes, and we really would love it. The more people we can get to sign up for the newsletter, the better. That's really the way you continue to have information about what's going on in the community. So that's really important. Oh, and the other thing that we are gonna do, and if you have children that are in high school that need community service hours, we are creating what you call a door handle flyer that we want to have distributed in the Madison Park, Friends of Madison Park zone. That includes Broadmoor, Washington Park, even over to Denny Lane area. And we want to be sure that everybody knows that we exist. I'm always, because I'm so much in the thick of it, I'm always surprised to find people have never heard of Friends of Madison Park. And we are trying just to be sure our presence is known. We have 667 subscribers to our newsletter, so that's from our initial 14 a year and a half ago to 667. So we are getting the word out, but we're hoping the door handle flyers does this even better, and more people sign up for the newsletter. We are putting out the newsletter really every 2 weeks, and sometimes, it's the third week, but that's just to keep everybody on top of what's going on in the community. One thing that we also really want to press with the community is to shop local. We're getting into the holiday season, and I just want to remind everyone that we have all these wonderful stores in our community, and if you're thinking what you're going to be giving gifts for in the coming couple of months, please think of shopping locally. So we're going to put that on our banners, our flyers. Holiday activities are now getting organized for December. Yes?
December 14th, there will be a holiday market on 42nd Avenue East with over 20, at this point, 25 vendors. So remember that too for your holiday shopping.
And we are creating a flyers and a banner that should be up within the next couple of weeks. That December 14th, there's a wreath making class in Pioneer Hall. There is the artisan market. There are activities at the preschool here in the afternoon for children. And we are going to have the tree lit, and the children from the Gilbert Elementary School are coming down to sing on December 14th. So at 5 o'clock, rain or no rain, and the tree will be lit. A lot of people know the story that last year the tree almost didn't light at the time everybody was gathering for the Christmas singing. So anyway, just keep that in mind. And Christmas Shifts comes again this year. It's on December 21st, and that is from 8:35 to 8:55, and that will be on the banner and in the newsletter for you all to be up on. There is the bathhouse and the beach restoration. We're kind of at a holding point. I think that's fair to say. Right now, we are working with the Seattle Parks Foundation and partnering with them for a proposal that we will be submitting to the city. We're waiting for their feedback and some changes on that proposal. We're also working with the Parks Department to have this be a prioritized project through the Parks Department. We have submitted an application for that, and they have told us it will probably be the beginning of 2025 before we know the answer, if they're going to work with us, but we're feeling really confident about that as well. I want to give an update on the crosswalk. We've been trying to get a crosswalk from the park down to the beach, and I was in touch with the Parks Department, it's SDOT today, and a proposal has been submitted by the lead planner for crosswalks, and she is waiting to see if this gets approved. She assumes it will get approved, but has also told me it will not go in until the spring or summer of next year because they are so backlogged. But we are at least in the pipeline, finally. Let's see, the other thing I wanted to just bring up are the things, the volunteers that we need. Am I on the right?
You're on the right side.
Okay, good. And we'll talk about the fall cleanup. That is a huge one that we need volunteers for. We do have a sign up.
Let's go around and.
Okay, the fall cleanup. Well,
Is
Ann,
that
you wanna-
like,
Yeah, why don't you come on up and talk about the fall cleanup?
anybody not had this?
Oh, okay.
Well, for these around in stores, but the fall cleanup is September or November 16th. And we're looking for volunteers, so I think one of these, I would like a sign-up sheet that was just for that fall.
There's one
Here's
other
one,
round.
okay.
If you sign up on
Okay.
the other one, we'll make sure that gets to you as well.
Okay, okay. So it's 9 to 12. It involves sweeping, raking, kind of picking up trash along Madison from Starbucks down to here. We did it in April. It's not complicated, but and it shouldn't be hot, but it hopefully won't be too cold. And we meet at Bank of America parking lot to sign in and sign a waiver. And, let me see what else. But,
Bring your own tools?
no, we have some tools. I would say bring your own gloves, because there'll be some gloves, but like, just bring what's comfortable for you. Some people like gloves, some people don't, but, we'll mainly be doing, like, raking up leaves. The city gives us these big paper bags, so filling those, but there's gonna be, I don't think there's trash per se, it's more like just leaf debris. But, so it's sweeping, raking, cleaning up, and water and little snacks.
It's
and
not
things.
planned.
Pardon?
No.
No planting, it's cleaning.
Low-key way to connect with your neighbors, come for as
Yeah.
long as you can.
Yeah, exactly.
When we did
Yeah.
it last spring, there were probably 50 people that came out.
Yeah.
And everyone had a great time. There's always refreshments for the people who are working. And once the fall cleanup is done, then we will have plantings. So we have ordered 600 bulbs, daffodil bulbs, that will be going in the blocks, I'm gonna call it the Starbucks block or Red Apple block, and then also in the Triangle Park block down to McGilvra's, and in the different containers that we have. That's done by Jacobson Landscaping, and I was in touch with them today, and they will start doing the cleanup as soon, the soil prep, as soon as we are done. And that following week, they will be planting, like I say, 600 bulbs, and then we're also planting Japanese grasses. I could do botanical names, because Conocloa Aureola, because that's what I used to do for a living. So, anyway, that will be done the following week, and so come spring, we should have a lot of color in those beds. We also are we're working on getting a new planter outside the pharmacy where the block raised bed is, and I've already gotten 2 bids, I'm working on the 3rd one right now. Yes.
Is there a special reason why you leave out the metal block?
Well, money has been one, and the other is the difficulty in planting under all the sweet gum trees. But if we are working on a budget for 2025, and we may be able to allot some additional funds to do that block. We will do that block eventually, but it is more of a challenge. Those trees have a huge root, as we all know. We can look at the sidewalk, we can look at the trees. They have a massive root system, so it is just more of a challenge. to
Yeah,
do
I
that.
figured that. We tried to get the trees taken down.
Well,
Because of what it did to, what
it
it
has
does
done
to
a lot
the
to
side.
the blocks, and there is a lot of back and forth and different feelings about whether or not they are worth saving, because they do cause some dangerous walking along there as well. And everyone knows all the little burrs that, the seed pods that come down, and there are a little bit of ankle twisters as well. So that that is something that we'll probably talk about later down the line, but we're gonna work with what we have.
Thank
for
you.
now. Okay, so the other volunteers we need, other than the fall cleanup, which is the big one, it's really fun, rain or shine, is we need volunteers, we need a volunteer coordinator. We get, as you sign up tonight, we just want to be sure if you're interested in volunteering for an event or a project that it's getting to the right person. We did have someone who had taken that on, but for a number of reasons had to step away. So we're looking for a volunteer coordinator. If someone is interested in that, you can reach out to me, President of Friends of Madison Park. That would be great. If we also need help in development as we're growing and as we're processing more projects and events, it would be really helpful to have someone who is doing sort of the oversight for development and being sure we have the funding for what we're hoping to do. We need, we're working on systems. We could always use help on systems management. And we would love to have a photographer. You do not need to be a professional photographer, but it would be great to have a photographer who could come to events, to this, to, you know, whatever is going on in the neighborhood. So if anyone is interested in that. We have one city liaison. We are working with the city in so many different departments and fields right now. It would be really helpful to have an additional co-city liaison. So if you have a history of working with a city and you like doing that and you don't get frustrated by it, then this job would be for you. Again, all of these volunteer positions really do not require a lot of time per month. We're trying to figure out how to keep it at a minimum, but we are growing and having additional people on committees and potentially on a board is really important for kind of the momentum that we have built. Okay, let's see. And just one other thing is that we're working with the Public Safety Committee, and Councilman Hollingsworth was here the last time, and her office is wanting to have regular meetings among the different neighborhoods in her district, and we're going to be part of that. So we'll be reporting back to you about these quarterly meetings, I think it is, Gina. And the other thing that we're working on as a neighborhood too is to have a connection to the other neighborhood community organizations. So we are in touch with Montlake Community Organization, with Madrona, with Madison Valley, with Leschi, with Mount Baker, and Capitol Hill. And starting in 2025, we are planning to have regular meetings with them and really create an alliance with these different neighborhood organizations. It's feeding off of information with each other. It's also having a stronger voice within the city and whatever we are trying to accomplish. The last little tidbit for me is that I don't know if anybody has noticed with the beach, they have now hydro-seeded the beach and are trying to bring back the grass to the beach. That is a short-term solution to what we want to do and a long-term restoration of the beach and the parks, but they are working with us. So that is wonderful. And we also are trying to get the irrigation system working up in the main playground, which was broken, and that's why it became kind of dusty and dry up there this summer. Okay, so Diane, the financial report.
I'm taking the minutes in for the
Oh, yes,
financial
our
report.
secretary is.
Actually, I passed around on the clipboard, the summary financial report that I put together for these meetings. Becky already reported that we did really well with our auction, but I haven't quite finalized the numbers yet for our party in the park. I should say it wasn't just an auction, it was a party. But the gross number Becky reported, I think is fairly accurate at $115,000. I'm just trying to round up all the expenses have some right here, because we just paid the Seattle Tennis Club today, so we'll have a more accurate net number and a breakdown of revenue and expenses at the next community meeting. So this is what my report looks like. Basically, all it shows you is how much cash we had at the end of September, about 65,000. And our cash balance today is 136,000. And we're still expecting some money. We have asked for reimbursement for the Music in the Park grant from the city of Seattle, so that $5,000 should be coming in. And we've got a few sponsors who owe us a little bit of money. So we're expecting our balance to grow further. So this year to date, as of September 30th, and that's before Party in the Park, our net revenues were almost $40,000. So, you know, we're building a bank account to help support all of the things that we want to do in our community.
So Brendan, do you want to give everyone an update and the good news on the McGill
Yes, actually, can I
Elementary
turn it over?
School?
I see McGilver PTA President Lynn Morris, can I turn it over to you?
Hi everyone, I'm Lynn Salkin-Morris, I'm the president of the McGilver PTA, and I'm very happy to be able to report that we will still be open a year from now. I just want to say thank you to, a lot of members of the community also stood up and sent letters on behalf of McGilvra, and you know, we don't know what led to the decision, but all of that I'm sure helped. So thank you for the time. It certainly felt like a warm hug to all of us families that were there when we felt like just uncertain about what the future was going to hold. We still don't really know what the future holds beyond next year. And so we're going to continue to work with the state legislature to increase funding to hopefully, you know, help secure the SPS budget. We're also going to be working hard to get the word out about McGilvra to recruit more families. That's, you know, the key core of it is that we have lost some enrollment over the last couple of years, and we need people to send their kids to McGilvra. So if you know, if you have grandchildren or you have neighbors or you yourself have kids that are coming up into kindergarten, we'll be doing some tours in the next couple of weeks. The first one will probably be targeting around November 15th, I think. So stay tuned for that. If you're just curious to see what the school looks like inside, you're also more than welcome to come. They're, you know, intended for kind of prospective families, but anyone is more than welcome. And come and take a look and see what a wonderful school it is. So that's great. Thank you, everybody.
It is an amazing old building. It's built in
It was originally opened in the 1890s, and I think the building, historic landmark building, it's just very beautiful. And
Yeah.
great.
It's really fun. So the more that Friends of Madison Park can pair with McGilvra for, you know, events, activities, we want to do that. And having the kids come down from McGilvra to sing in the park was so delightful last year. So I'm hoping that people can come and hear them sing. They're going to sing 6 songs this year. Last year they sang 2 songs. But by popular demand, they're going to come back and sing more songs. So, Little Beats, was Meg able to come? So our Little Beats concert, kids concert series, we started the first Saturday of October, and it was great. There were about 75, 80 kids showed up and their parents. And this will be the first Saturday of each month in Pioneer Hall. Again, if you've never been in Pioneer Hall, also an amazing building, really fun to come in and see the space. And I've got the flyer here, and I am trying to remember who it is. Brian and his good buddies are the acts for this coming Saturday, from 11 to 12. So $5 is suggested for coming in, but we don't turn any children away from coming to the event. So that's this coming Saturday. The next thing I want to do is introduce one of the new owners of Red Wagon Toys. I know so many people knew Georgina for many, many years, running Red Wagon Toys, and now we have John and Lisa Graves now have taken over the store from Georgina. And John, you want to come up and introduce yourself? If you haven't been in since they started, it just looks great.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, as she said, I'm John Graves. My wife Lisa and I are really local. We've both of us were born in West Seattle. Different families, of course. That's the joke. But yeah, we have lived, aside from going away to school, we both have lived in West Seattle our entire lives, and have now raised 3 kids, and they're all wonderful adults. And I had a corporate career for about 25 years. My 2 biggest stints were at Darigold and Starbucks in corporate roles in IT. And my wife's been in the toy business for about 18 years now, and wholesale. And we were manufacturers reps, and that's actually how we knew Georgina and John shared. My wife Lisa was actually part of the painting crew when they built out the store and opened it. So, and then we have sold Georgina a lot of the items in the store for the last 15 years. And so when she wanted to retire, we were not planning on opening another store. We have 3 businesses now, the wholesale business, and we also opened another store 3 years ago down in Tacoma, and it's called Guppies down at Point Ruston. It's a waterfront market, and so we've been doing that for 3 years. We really have enjoyed it, and Georgina knew that, and so when she wanted to retire, she called us and had thought of us, and we're super glad she did, and thought about it and said, yeah, we should do it. And we're really glad that we did. We've been enjoying getting to know everybody and having a lot of fun, and just looking forward to being part of this group and part of the community. We are working through, Georgina had a lot of product and a huge storage unit that we've now emptied, and we're working through that. We're trying to bring in some new things, and we're talking to people and listening and getting ideas for what people would like to see, and just how we can. We're not changing the name. We never even thought about it actually. It's just glad to be here. So look forward to it.
So I want to give you, I want to introduce Doug Farr and Johnny Fallon, and they're going to present an update on the farmers market. And I think this is going to be wanting to get, feedback from you and have questions answered. Because there are so many people here, what we would like to do is if you raise your hand and you want to ask a question or give a comment, give you 1 or 2 minutes. We want to be sure everybody who wants to speak gets an opportunity to do that. So participation may be a little more controlled in some ways. So Doug and Johnny, come up and just give an overview, and then you can open it up for discussion.
To set it up, this is a fall cleanup?
Just give it to the front row, please.
The front row? Okay.
Send it around again.
My name is Doug Farr. I'm the director of Seattle Farmers Markets Association. We and Johnny Fallon. We were contacted by Octavia almost a year ago and she reached out to all of the Farmers Market groups in Seattle about the possibility of opening a farmers market down here. A couple of farmers market groups, including us, came down and talked with her. I worked with the other directors of all of the farmers markets basically throughout the whole state, but mainly in the city of Seattle and King County. And through having meetings with Octavia and looking at different sites, we came down and started discussing about the possibilities of having one. We talked about it as a group, and then we first settled on putting on a farmer's market on Madison, right in front of the retail. We worked on that for a number of months, met with a number of the businesses there, had some positive responses, had some negative responses, we had a number of, and we came down and we were in the music, Johnny was here at the music.
Yeah, I got a lot of responses from people. I think it was about 200 or so responses. Mostly all positive, but you know, I think we got a lot of similar feedback of people being worried about parking over on Madison Avenue, which is like a very fair, I think, thing to be worried about. So there was a decision made recently.
So Octavia,
Whichever.
yeah.
So love that month.
We met and discussed the different options as well as some of the main concerns of which we were addressing. Based upon all of that and in the best interest of the community, we felt like we should look at one of the original options of which she presented, which is over on 42nd between Madison and Blaine. And so that's where we're putting our focus. We talked to the businesses over there in regards to that.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Again. So
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? What did you not, what did you say you did do?
so we went and talked to the businesses on 42nd between Madison and Blaine, and
You did talk to Brendan because I'm an employee there, and he did, and he's thrilled to have it on 42nd.
so and so that is the direction of which we're looking at. We are still doing outreach to contact everybody. We're still talking to the community. So that's why we're here, something like that. Again, just as the first, we're still in the process of getting feedback, talking to people, as well as working with the Friends of Madison Park.
So I would say if you have a question or a comment, we're gonna be respectful and take our turns, and everybody get a minute to ask the question. If you'll raise your hand. Yes. You wanna stand up so
Sure.
we can hear you?
My name is Joe Stratton. I own two commercial buildings on 42nd.
Yes.
Did come by, caught me by surprise. I was not aware of any of this plan. His original pitch was it was going to be on Thursdays, which I said was totally wrong. He then said Saturday, and I said, oh, you know, I'm not down here a lot on Saturdays, so maybe okay. Since then, I've talked to the other tenants, not Brendan, but I understand he has a retail shop there and would like to have customers, but the other tenants, I think, are pretty much uniform that it's not a good idea. For a number of reasons, there's just no way to get around parking impact. What I've heard is 1,000 to 2,000 people coming is the goal, where, as well as all the farmers with their trucks, this is a residential neighborhood primarily with one commercial street. It's not the University District where you have University Heights School with the enormous lot there, or Ballard, or the Madrona one on at the grocery store there. There's no capacity for 1,000 or 2,000 people on a Saturday, when we always also have all the people coming down to the beach on a nice warm Saturday. And so I think it's really a huge colossal mistake, and it's not any
Doug, just so you have an opportunity to respond to the numbers.
As it has been, as I've stated in a lot of the other minutes, this is a community farmers market. This is not a farmers market, but we're similar to some other farmers markets where it brings a lot of people from different destinations. Statewide, most farmers markets attract 50 to 60% of the people that walk to the farmers market because this serves a local community. We've done surveys in all of our farmers markets as well as the other farmers markets in Seattle, and so we know per population what statistics go to each farmers markets, and the majority of the people walk to that farmers market specifically to support it. It is based upon, the community. Like I say, when you're talking about 1,000 to 2,000 people spread out over a 4-hour period of a day, that does break it down. This would be a much smaller farmers market. The University Farmers Market has approximately 96 vendor spaces. This would have about 27 at most.
Hi, so we're talking, give me the hours of the farmer's market.
Pardon me?
The hours
the farmer's market hours.
Yeah, we've talked about,
10 to 2, but that's not really right, because you have to have the trucks coming in and everybody coming in and taking things down. How do you accommodate all the garbage that will be left? Do you guys provide honey buckets? I mean, what do we do for all the people as far as?
Yeah, I mean, I can respond to that. Going by our other two slightly bigger but similar sized markets, Wallingford and Madrona, we almost, I don't think I've ever seen an occasion where we fill up an entire garbage can full of anything. And it's mostly because there's limited hot food options. It's normally kind of people grocery shopping and getting fruits and vegetables and all that kind of stuff. As far as the road closure stuff, you're definitely right. It takes time for our vendors to set up and break down. And on this little flyer, our permit, if we would apply for it, it would be from 8 to 4. Would be when we would close off that street. But we've also seen that normally vendors don't take 2 hours to set up, because if it was gonna be 10 to 2, some of them will get it there about an hour beforehand. And the same with the closing down, it rarely takes them about 2 hours. And our goal would be to get out of there as quick as possible as well too.
and going back to a couple of your questions, we are responsible for our own trash. We do that at all of our farmers markets, as well as we do have a honey bucket. We actually use green latrine. They do provide a better service. We tried a number of them at our farmers markets, but we provide them at all of our farmers markets. And then when we do clean up the street, we basically leave it in as good a condition, if not better than what we found it. And that is a requirement of our street permit that we do working with the city.
I also think it's important.
And then do you leave those for the
Yeah,
whole summer?
I was just gonna say that, like, we have our porta potties on hitches essentially, so that we drive them in, drive them out. We would never leave them there throughout the week, throughout the summer or whatever.
And what do you plan to do about rodents?
About
Rodents, rats.
rodent, why would we be?
Because they're everywhere. You're at a lakefront community, so we have the Norwegian wood rat that lives in there. And so we have, about 15 years ago, I called Cairo and all the stations to see all the problems with the rats we had in the play area for the kids.
Yeah.
And they came out and then the city very kindly decided they needed to clean it up. We don't want that to happen again.
Yeah. I appreciate and respect that. Farmers markets, I don't know of a single farmers market that actually imports rats to the farmers
No, I
market.
don't think we
Houses rats, and if we clean the streets, there's no reason for us to have rats on the street. We don't have rats at any of our farmers markets, specifically because of the farmers market. If you go to any of the farmers markets around the city of Seattle, you know, we are in the middle of the street. That's not a prime location for rats to be around. And if we go around at the end of the day and sweep up the street, which is what we do at all of the farmers markets, there's nothing to have a rat infestation.
We clean up as market organizers, but it's also in our policies for our vendors to clean up where their booths were as well too. We really do try to leave it as spotless as it was when they first arrived.
With Ballard, you know, it is one of the largest farmers markets which we run. It is one of the largest ones in the state. We have 160 booths, and each of those farmers markets cleans up after them. And in particular, when we're going back to the opening and closing, Madrona, we typically get out of that farmers market in 1 hour or less, and Madrona would be larger than this one. With Wallingford, we get out of the Wallingford Park in about an hour. With Ballard, it takes us an hour and a half to get 110 vendors out. And that has given us time afterwards to clean up the street.
Thank you. I'm Jerry Rubin. We're in favor of farmers markets, but not where you want to put it. It's a bad location. First of all, you've got the beach here, and we get lots of folks who want to use the beach. What do? They drive down here, and they have to park. We have a playground. Lots of people want to use the playground. They drive here. We've got the tennis courts, and you want to put a farmer's market right in the middle of this. I don't think this makes, from a business perspective, any sense. I would encourage everybody here, we do, go to Madrona. Let's make it bigger and better. But we don't need it right here, particularly the location where you've got it. Michelle and I, the last No, we have enough trouble with parking now, and parking is huge. Michelle talked to, one of the folks, down at Park Shore. She says, my employees park over on 42nd, because there isn't parking here in the neighborhood. And so I really urge, all of you to think seriously about supporting Madrona, but not supporting this location, because I think it is bad. And then one more point, and I'll sit down. I worry about our friends.
30 more seconds,
Oh,
you're good.
very good. Let me just tell you, the postal shop up here, they're an asset to the community. We want to support an existing business. And they, 70%, I think, if I've got the number right, of their customers drive and then go in with packages or take packages. Where are they gonna park on Saturday, which is one of the busiest days of the week? And so, I think we as a community have to first take care of our existing businesses and promote them before we bring in, an outside business. We thank you.
Can I respond to that? Jerry? Can I ask you, did you and Michelle walk down here?
Did I what?
Walk here?
Absolutely.
That's exactly why 60% of the people or more come to the farmer's market. We're not asking people to West Seattle to come here. We're not asking people from and might I say, 60 to 70% of the people that go in Madrona walk to that farmer's market. That parking lot doesn't have the ability to park. You have more parking here than Madrona does, based around, excuse me, Michelle. So that market, we are not closing that market, contrary to what some people have said. We fully intend to keep that market. That market serves its community. Just like that, Capitol Hill has 2 farmers markets on the same street on different days. They're both supported very well by the same clientele for people which support the neighborhood. I'm not bringing in a farmer's market for people to come to this community. I'm bringing in a farmer's market because the neighbors in the neighborhood want to walk to their own farmer's market. With that being the case, the stuff that comes to a farmer's market is specifically 100% Washington grown, and most of it is 50 miles or less. We're not bringing produce in from California, from Oregon, from China, or anywhere else that is grown. We are supporting local farmers, keeping those farmers in business and they're alive. 92% of every dollar or more goes back to that farmer by us farmers markets providing them a place to vend, and we're bringing it to the person locally so that you can talk to the person that grows your vegetables and your fruit, and you can build that relationship up. And that's what neighborhood farmers markets are about. When you go to a grocery store, a farmer gets 23 cents. And so we are taking out the middleman, and we're giving you the person of which is actually raising, growing, and producing those. And it also helps keep them alive to where they can support that land of which they're taking care of.
In the back one first.
2 quick questions. How, I believe it was 27. How was 27 vendors selected as the number that would fit the community?
That is maximum. And like I say, maximum. When we put on a farmer's market, we basically build out a farmer's market based upon, a farmer's market is just a grocery store, in essence. We don't want to bring in 27 vendors that have carrots. We don't want to have 27 vendors that produce meat. So we do select the farmers that, so basically we can build out as much from that roster that a market.
Diversity of products
Yeah.
for the community.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the follow-up question there is how was Saturday selected as the chosen day?
Good question. I think originally the date was proposed as a Thursday because it was gonna be a good tie-in with the music at the park that Madison Park is doing. But then there was some grumbling about it, and a couple of businesses had kind of suggested as like a Saturday morning might have been a good idea. Kind of rolled with it, and then it like a very impromptu polling of talking to a handful of the business owners on Madison Ave and whatnot, they kind of seem to go along more with the Saturday morning thing.
And I guess my 2 cents there.
Sure.
I love the idea of having fresh produce in walking distance. I think it's a great idea personally. But I'm also an avid beach goer, so I understand that, like, you know, I get to walk to the beach, it's no problem, but I do know that parking is a premium that day. And that's my 2 cents.
Specifically on Madison, when we were discussing Madison, it was, for myself, it was the choice between the locations. However, the impact on the parking, it was specifically asked by us, by some of the people in this group, to pick another location that was not as impactful. And so we discussed that through conversations. When we went back to it, that's when, you know, Octavia and I said, well, let's go back to her original location. And so when I went and talked with, you know, the landowner over there, he said absolutely not on Thursday. He would be opposed to it. However, Saturday was a better of the two options, specifically. And so that's when we kind of talk about it, and that's how we came up on Saturday night.
I guess, like, the compromise.
Okay, sorry.
Can I just ask one brief one? Okay, so,
There's so many people in this room.
I know, it's a good one, So, is it possible to work with the business owners to find a day that has humdrum business amongst the group, the greatest consensus to find, like, use that day? Just throwing it out there, could we work together?
I wasn't sure, you know, we're more than welcome to continue this conversation about, it's not sealed.
I think everybody can win, it's a good question.
I actually think this,
Yes.
yeah.
No, hi.
She,
Sorry.
okay. Sorry, I thought it was.
I'm Mariah Agnes, I own Mariah's Madison Park Salon. I hadn't heard about this, I don't come to these meetings, Monday's my day off, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm disappointed you guys didn't come talk to me. I'm right next to Madison Kitchen. So I'll just tell you, my thing is, I do about 20 clients in my shop on Saturdays. One of the selling points of my shop is easy parking. And you guys are talking about 60% people walk, but 60% of 2,000 is still. You said 1,000 people come? That's what you said. You did say that. You did say that. So that's 400 people, right? That will come by car.
So when,
That's what he said. He said 1,000 people.
let me clear this.
Oh, he said,
Let me clear this
You
up.
did discuss a number though, right?
That was
Of
when we were
how many
talking,
people?
that's when we were talking about Madison, which was gonna be a larger farmer's market.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 1,500 to 2,000 is what goes to
Yeah.
Madrona and Wallingford, which are larger farmers markets. And so the maximum, that's the reason I say the maximum is spread over 4 hours. You know, again, you know, we are only
So say
targeting,
half of that,
we are only targeting.
and then 40% of that, that's still 300-400 people driving down here parking to go to the farmer's market. Right? So we lose all of those, and by the way, I like farmer's markets. I have nothing, it's just business, right? Saturday is a madhouse to park on that street. So will I go out of business? No, but it's gonna be a real hassle. People aren't gonna be happy, they're already not happy in the summer. It's just a lot of, lack of parking already. So you lose, I don't know how many, like, right there. Then you add in 400 over 4 hours. So that's like 100 spots, and it's the middle of summer, most of these, when it's already really crowded. That is the main thing. And, you know, I hope I don't have to look at the porta potty. I would prefer not to.
And then you are.
Hi, Michelle Rubin. I've had, some people in the community besides myself have gone around, and I live on 42nd. It's 162 feet from my gate to where I would see and hear a farmer's market for 17 Saturdays all summer long. The trucks start rolling in around 8 o'clock. There's 20 spaces that are gonna be lost for parking. Then you're gonna have all the trucks and the vans that people come with all their goods are gonna take up another 15 or 20 spots. That's about 40 spots that are gone. Then on the 2 weekends, I know that the tennis club has those big tournaments. The parking is, everyone knows what it's like down here, and it's on a Saturday. Then you have the Saturday when you have the airplanes, the Blue Angels. It is a madhouse. I live on 42nd. That is a residential lot. There are little kids that ride their bikes and trikes. There's people with their strollers. And right there, there's 2 houses down, there's 2 little babies. They don't want to listen to that in the morning. And I have here close to 100 signatures. I have 15 businesses that you think you've talked to all the businesses. The businesses all said, oh, you know, Michelle, it's better not in front of my store. It's better over there. I'm really sorry. I didn't know that you only lived right there. And I have the businesses here. You'd be surprised who they are. 15 of them. If anyone here wants me to read them right now, I will read them. And you'd be surprised. Marty, they own a building here. They have mental health workers. On Saturday, it's up there. They take appointments. Where are these people going to park? We already have the post office, which he's stuck in the middle. You got a UPS comes in the morning, they come in the afternoon. Then you've got the Federal Express. Then you've got the Amazon trucks. In front of my house, right down there, there has been many, many times almost fist fights over parking. And I'm not kidding you. Many people I talked to with all these names said, you know what? I love the farm market. I go to your farmer market in Madrona all the time. I've talked to you there. I love them. It's not that we don't want farmers market. Many people have said, you know, maybe this just isn't the place. Or since so many people who belong to the tennis club want it, why doesn't the tennis club give us part of their parking lot on Saturday? I mean, come on. We pay a lot of taxes and money to live down here because I don't care. It is a style of life that we have picked. Okay, well, you know what? No, she said I could have her a minute. We pay for the lifestyle down here. What's the lifestyle?
One of the things that we want to do is stay respectful of other people's opinion here, and it's a good opportunity to have the conversations, but other people need to be heard as well. Does anyone else want to speak? Go ahead.
As a parent, I want to say, oh, sorry.
It's okay, we got.
No, go ahead. You go.
As a parent, I want to say, I think this is a great idea. Throughout COVID, my family went to the Madrona Farmers Market every single Friday. It was like our lifeline. We got out of the house, and to this day, my kids love going to the farmers market. And it's really hard sometimes to find the time. We do go to the Madrona one, but with no disrespect to the location, it's not a quaint farmers market. They love coming down here. They love going to Red Wagon. They love going to the park, and it's great. Would be great to be able to take them to walk the loop, to go and choose their berries and what they want, and then to take it home and eat them. And it's just such a good learning experience for them.
Do you drive down?
Yes. But here's the other thing here's another thing to remember about the parking. When you come to a farmer's market, you're not staying there for hours. We drive to the one in Madrona where parking is challenging, but after.
Parking would be challenging,
I'm guessing she wouldn't be driving this.
A couple of people are constantly coming and going. They're not going and parking and staying for hours. Now, maybe there's a different day, but I just think to me, Madison Park is the perfect location for a farmer's market.
Oh, okay, I just have one small question. I live exactly on Blaine Street. I live directly across the street in an apartment building. And everyone forgets that there are all kinds of high-density apartment buildings directly across, right on Blaine Street, for 17 Saturdays every morning. And those apartment buildings, those are workers who work every day. The only day they get to sleep in is Saturday and Sunday, and you're gonna come down here for 17 Saturdays and wake us up? I mean, give us a break, for God's sake.
Do you have a question?
My question is,
Why was the time 10 to 2 chosen? You know, summer, sort of the day starts a lot earlier. I was thinking, you know, daylight starts earlier. why would it be later? I just think of farmer's markets, like first thing, get up, let's go, you know. That was just my first thought.
Okay, that's a very good question. Thank you for asking the question. Specifically, when we have to plan a farmer's market, we work with other farmer's markets because there's only so many farmers. And so we have to stage when farmer's markets can show up at different markets. Specifically, at most farmers markets, there are a certain set of farmers that Alvarez is a very large one. They're over in Toronto. Olson is a very large one. Wilson. When I talk about large, they do about 6 farmers markets, 6 to 8 farmers markets. And so I'm talking, they're still small farms, but they are shared. And so the university district is on Saturday. That director asked, since it is open from 9 o'clock, we want to have a farmer's market at 10 o'clock so they can set up or drop off at one location.
For both locations.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And I was thinking, I don't know if we could use parking, when they have the concerts, people parked, or like the bands parked in the grassy area.
Up in the
Park, could the farmers park there? I don't know.
Could they have little farmers market there?
That's just,
So the reason in which we have chosen not to do the park, is that what you're referring to? It was also referred to as, why don't we go to schools? It was also referred to as, why don't we pick a residential street? These are all conversations in which we've already addressed at different points. The reason in which we don't go to a park is we operate one in a park, and it is very challenging to operate in a park without taking a toll on the grass, because you're having the same people week after week after week coming through. And so that is a decision in which we said that and I don't think the Parks Department wants to have farmers markets and parks anymore.
Okay, Richard. I just was gonna say, we probably have 5 more minutes for comments, questions, because we've got other business to attend to as well. Okay.
I'm Chris Cruiser, I've got a hard postal just up the street over here. And we're not on the lane, but we are between 42nd and 40, we're on that strip from that little white house tucked in the back there.
Yeah.
We're a small business and we love being part of the village and we love to matter into the community. People walk in, you don't have to leave the area to go to the post office. Saturday is the day that a lot of our customers who have packages delivered to us instead of on their doorstep, so they don't disappear when they come and pick them up. But we're also in a community where there's a lot of people like me who have this color hair. And even though we would like to think we're as strong and able as we were when we were younger, we're not. And you can't expect people to be walking around carrying 30 pounds of packages back to their house. It may even be up the hill a little bit. And the other thing is with the parking, right now when there are major events, for example, when the Blue Angels fly, our business dies. It's gone. So this will be a major event for 17 Saturdays. Are you gonna have a grant to replace $17,000 out of my margins? I mean, it will kill us. And we are a very marginal business as it is right now. And I don't wanna be a business that leaves the position.
With our organization, we specifically work with every business to have as minimal impact as possible throughout the entire season, before the season. That's the reason why we're right here talking to everybody, just to address everybody's concerns and to try to find a situation that is a win-win for everybody. We specifically want to target that. We don't want to have a negative impact on the neighborhood or on the business. I do that with Ballard, which has many businesses. I also do it with Madrona, which only has 1 business, and also, with Wallingford, the surrounding neighborhood. So we do work with every business specifically, and neighbors, to say how can we have a minimal impact as possible.
How would you have a minimal impact?
I'm happy to meet with you individually, so that we're not taking away other people's times.
But I think everyone would like to know.
Yes. We're gonna do about parking, we're just asking.
So
Where are the trucks gonna park?
So with
There are gonna be people who aren't walking, where are they gonna park?
So with businesses specifically that are in close proximity, we do and can build that into our application to reserve parking, so that it is 5 to 10 minute parking specifically for those businesses without having them. with ourselves working with the farmers, that is something which we would be working out, is where we could be putting the vendor parking to have a minimal. If we take it on a case-by-case basis and based upon where, what is supported by the neighborhood.
Man, I'm gonna get fast at haircuts,
Hold on.
real fast.
We gotta go in order, you guys. I think there's two more before you. Go ahead.
Just a question maybe for even Octavia. How did we get here? I believe there was a survey at one point where people were asked what they wanted in the neighborhood, and I think that's why we're getting a farmer's market, or maybe getting a farmer's market is because people said they wanted it. But I don't remember that. I don't remember the process or how many people wanted it, and maybe when people checked the box, they wanted the farmer's market, they were thinking of an impact on our coastal, which everybody also wants. But maybe just to review kind of
I'll try to give
why we're
quick
here.
a summary as I can. When we started Friends of Madison Park, or when we had our first meeting, our first couple of meetings at McGilvery's, one of the things we did was we put up a big poster board and we asked people, what would you like a neighborhood organization to bring to the community? And one of many post-its was, we would love to have a farmer's market. Among, we want the children's parade and picnic back, we want music in the park back, we want all these different things. But that was one of the things that was up there. And at that point, another neighbor, Josh Meisner, and I started reaching out to some of the neighborhood, some of the citywide farmers markets to find out what would it entail. And we also did a survey that was on our website, and Josh came to several neighborhood meetings and presented the survey. And I can actually repost that survey, but in the meantime, the Seattle Farmers Market Association has also put out a survey, and we can keep that on our website for people to be able to continue to respond to it. When we initially did our survey, it was a little bit under 100 people responded. Parking was one of the issues that we raised on the survey, and for I'm giving a round number because I don't have the breakdown analysis, but overwhelmingly the response was it would be great to have a market. We do not see the parking isn't really a concern because we would be walking. That was the main response. Let me also just add that we have put out, we have had 2 meetings with the businesses. We have left flyers for every business to try and attend or to contact me to talk about the impact. We have listened to the businesses. I have spoken with the businesses in the area from Triangle Park down to McGilvery's. Individually, I think with every business owner along there, I want to be sure in all this process that people are getting accurate information about the impact, and that's why I wanted Doug to attend the meetings and Johnny to attend the meetings, to come here repeatedly to neighborhood meetings and to meet with individuals. If we haven't, for example, if we haven't talked to you, I apologize. We really were focused between Triangle Park of getting all those people, involved because the parking was going to impact right in front of their buildings. To me, there was a huge relief when we switched it to 42nd East because I went back to Martha Harris, to Madison Jewelry, to Independent Pizzeria, to Cookin, to every one of the businesses there and talked to them to just be sure they felt better if it was located there. So that's a long-winded, I went beyond my 2 minutes, but I did want to get that back.
Okay, I have one little side point to your point.
Yes.
Just the businesses that you've spoken to that are adjacent to other farmers markets because they're chains, for example, Madison Park Pharmacy, actually say that although they had those same concerns when those farmers markets launched or for the businesses, that they feel like that's been a win-win for them, driving business that they might not have thought of, but that actually is today an increased business. So obviously, that depends per business.
The gentleman back
And that's it.
Yeah.
17 Saturdays in the summer, sounds like a terrible idea. This park needs to be open for all these people in apartment houses up on the hill that want to come down, enjoy the beach, go bathing in the summer, and to have this chaos by you guys. It's nutty. And so we really have to keep this access open. If you guys want to have a farmer's market, go do it inland somewhere, but not here where we have, in the summertime, it's getting warmer every day. All these guys in apartment houses want to come down, jump in the water, and they're not gonna walk all the way to Capitol Hill in their bathing suit. They're gonna come down here and want to park someplace, and you guys are gonna just overtake it. It's nutty. 17 Saturdays in the summer.
Do you go to the farmer's market?
No,
Okay.
and I'm glad I don't. And you guys are just, you're trying to You really gotta think about the heat and the people coming down to use the beach and the park. And you're not adding to that at all, you're destroying that.
I would like to quickly clarify though, it's not like us trying to put a market here, this was a community-driven thing that we asked to come down. But I understand your point. I understand your point, sorry. I just wanted to. Yeah, totally.
We're gonna go in order, because everybody's been raising their hands, and we can only take the last 3 people that had their hands up.
The idea that it's a community thing is a farce, because there's some real substantial folks here. We're long-time residents and business owners. We were involved about 10 years ago when this same type of thing took place. This group is strong, that has been this newly appointed group, but you're dealing with some real substantial people here, and the community has not been notified. I would have known that if I'd known that it was 17 Saturdays, I would have gotten involved. The last Madison Park newspaper that came out didn't even talk about the farmer's market. It talked about the tennis club business. It did not say a word about this. Then 2 days ago, I find out that these people on the main street were terrorized last week, and now that's correct. And now you're telling that, oh, they're happy now because we're going to bother these guys. I'm very, very skeptical of the need to have this farmer's market here in the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I live at Park Shore. I wouldn't drive, I would walk. And hearing concerns of the business, I love your business. And I would purposely go from the farmer's market to your place. Every Saturday, you'll see. And other people who are affected, because I'd be out, and oh, I think I'll get a latte and some cards and I think
We have the last person's right here.
Hi, I work at the jewelry store. My boss just asked me to come on his behalf. They live in Erie and aren't able to make it. They wanted me to share that they are still opposed, as I think you are aware. But I also live in the neighborhood. I'm a resident. And it's very clear that people have very strong feelings about this. I personally have some concerns about parking, which I hope won't be an issue, but that remains to be seen. You had mentioned at one point that this would be a sort of trial run. My boss is obviously very worried about a 17-week-long trial run. I personally am just wondering what sort of metrics you use to determine whether it's been successful. I understand that I am absolutely certain people going to the farmer's market will enjoy themselves. But if there was feedback from the businesses, what would that look like? Is there any sort of scenario where after the summer ends, the businesses say we have been negatively impacted in these ways, and you say, well, maybe we change our mind? What would that system look like? Do you have a system in place?
I don't think we have a specific system, but I think you absolutely nailed it, that we would like, after a trial period, we would go to these businesses and be like, okay, so how was it? How was the season? Did it impact your business heavily? Did it impact it positively, negatively, et cetera? Yeah, so you kind of nailed it on the head, I think.
So,
What about the residents?
so, thank you. So, in specifically, just as I said, and I've said this at every single meeting, our job is not to push ourselves on you. Our job is not to have a negative impact on the neighborhood. There has not been one single farmer's market in the city of Seattle which did not have a positive impact on the neighborhood and was asked to leave afterwards. In fact, every single farmer's market, every business has said the positive about how it has brought the neighborhood together. Majority of the farmers markets through the city are neighbors coming together, mingling together. It is the town center, pulling people apart, or pulling people together on that day. And that is why the majority of the people that would come to the farmers market, 60% or higher, flock to the farmers markets. It's not, I mean, every city has farmers markets all over, and the reason they have farmers markets is because they serve a community, they serve a neighborhood. They are independent of each other. With that trial being the case, we would very specifically work with the community in any way which is possible to make sure it works for everybody. In answer to you, Michelle, again, I've said this to you every single meeting for the last 4 months. I would work with you, I want to have a connection with you, and I want to have a relationship with you, and I'm more than happy to sit down one-on-one and address your concerns. In this meeting, I've said it all along, and I'm more than happy to meet with anybody privately, one-on-one, to address everything. We are not here to make enemies. We are here to work with the community because we were asked to come here, and that's all we're doing.
Thank you so much.
I think we need to move on to other items on the
Can I
agenda.
just ask one question? How is this gonna be decided?
We'll be around after we continue to
Who's
address those.
deciding to do this or not?
And when?
So at this point, we have done surveys, and, Johnny, can you remind me how many surveys you've gotten and what are the numbers that you've
I think the last time I checked was a couple weeks ago, but we had a bit over 200 or so respondees, and,
From McGilvra's?
no, I don't know, I was in the Music at the Park, every week for about a month, and I had to sign up, and I know.
We put it on the website.
Yeah, there's a
put it in the
handful now,
newsletter.
yeah, which is a bit of a different
You've
one.
got 100 people here who say no.
And I've got
Okay.
businesses, I've got, you know, I know you went to them, I've got the jewelry store,
Okay, Michelle, can we talk afterwards?
Yes, we
Because
can.
I feel
My
like,
question is still, who's deciding? Is it up to you?
is it up to our neighborhood association?
That's
Well,
us.
You know?
That's us.
You've heard there's a
Also
pros and
us.
cons.
I know, and can I just say, one of the things that I really want to be sure for everyone here, that they do have accurate information about the Madison Park, about what a farmer's market does here. The benefit of having Johnny and Doug come, and it's difficult when there's so many people in there, and we were trying to do it maybe in smaller groups, is to be able to ask lengthy questions, get your information, and be sure that you're getting correct information. I know Doug came and spoke to you, and based on, you know, your brief conversation, it was like, well, if Thursdays doesn't work, then Saturdays seems like a better option. We are trying really hard if this happens, and do I need, you know, do we have hundreds of people who are saying they are for the market? We have people sort of in formal ways coming into the toy store, coming into the pharmacy and saying, this sounds like a great idea. We're trying to do meetings with the businesses so that the business owners have an opportunity to express their concerns. And when we shifted where it was going to be located, really everyone I spoke to on that day seemed like that sounds great. I thought the understanding was that Saturday was okay for you, and that the Junior League is fine with it because they're not there on Saturdays, and Parlor Lines was excited about it because it brought more foot traffic. anyway, I'm probably blathering on more than I've let any of you blather on. But I do want you to know from the neighborhood association, it is an attempt.
How does the decision get made?
Well, I'm not quite sure, honestly. We are doing the process of, they are going through the process of going to the city to see if they can get a permit. I'm continuing, we as a neighborhood association are continuing to talk to the community. Hopefully we talk to all the businesses. Hopefully the word gets spread to all the neighbors. It won't be 100% consensus, I understand that. But I just want to be sure as business owners, as building owners, that you are given, that you have an opportunity to talk to Doug, to Johnny individually and get some feedback.
So the individual talking is probably less productive than a group talking, because my neighbors need to know what they tell me, and I need to know what they tell my neighbors, and we need to work together to have a common solution. So I appreciate the offer to meet a one-on-one, but I don't appreciate trying to solve the problem one-on-one when this is a community thing.
I want to know that.
I think just to keep us moving on the agenda, so I think that David, maybe I should speak out of turn, but I think that we can continue to have meetings with building owners, with groups of business owners. I think clearly there are concerns that have been expressed and that will be heard. I think we will keep engaging in this process until everyone, we are not gonna have consensus, but I think that, the feedback will continue to be gathered, and then based on that feedback, decisions will be made by the city, by the neighborhood association, and by the farmers market association, whether or not to move forward. So I would say, engage with these people here after the meeting, or their contact information is provided with us.
We are more than happy to come back to as many meetings as possible. Like I said, having one-on-one. We've been having these communications. One of the biggest things of which we are here for is that we want to have honest and open communication. There's been some very negative stuff said about the farmers markets, some false information here. That's why we're here.
And with that, I will move us to the next agenda item, but we will be here afterwards and every month, and it will not be hard to find Octavia on the streets of Madison Park.
Thank you.
It is a little hard to move on, but we have the emergency up in March.
We're about to have an emergency. Hi, everyone, I'm Margie Carter, and I have brought a grab-and-go bag. Do you all have one in case there's an emergency?
It's even red.
So, would you just talk to 2 or 3 people next to you and say what 3 things you have or you would think of putting in an emergency bag? We're gonna give you 2 minutes. Ready? Talk to someone. What would go in this emergency? 1 minute. 1 and a bottle of wine. What else? Matches. Flashlights. Matches. Cash. Cash is a good one. Water. So if anybody else needs more ideas, you can come peek before you leave at some basic
We can show
things.
some things that are in, so we got given these tonight by one of our co-captains of the hub, which is a place to meet in an emergency, and it is in the park. It's by the tennis courts. So if there's an emergency where communication is disrupted, so your phones and your internet don't work, come to the park, not right away, because we'll be dealing with our own houses. But, like the next day, when you have no water, come to the park, and we can tell you how to treat your water and things like that. So
There's an active radio committee that wants to make sure we can all communicate within our neighborhood. So if you're interested in that, let us know.
But some things, just that tiny first aid kit, glow stick. Money was a great one. I love that suggestion. They say down in Helene, people are using small bills for, goods and services. So, and a flashlight, crank flashlight. ugly food and a, so, anyway, think about having something like this around your house, even if it just has a few things like lighting and some bottled water.
Thank you.
So the next thing on the agenda is the One Seattle.
I have fall cleanup.
Oh, we did fall cleanup, okay. One Seattle plan, I don't know if everyone in the room is aware of the One Seattle plan. It's done every 10 years and it's sort of looking out 20 years to what the future looks like in different communities and throughout the city. Madison Park is one of the neighborhoods that is being addressed, I would say, in the One Seattle plan. And in the one, so presently in our, do you have it? Yeah. So presently in our neighborhood, we are now being proposed as a neighborhood center, is what it's being called. Presently, you're seeing, I'm gonna try and remember the color, is it brown or green or something?
It's orange?
Orange, well, orange is the main strip along Madison, and it does go up to Lynn, I believe it is. And that is now being proposed to have, we would be going from 3 stories to potentially 5 stories tall. That's through the business area on 42nd and 41st up to Newton. The proposal is that you could start having 3-story buildings as well. And the business area would be under the proposal of having retail at the bottom with up to 5 stories of residential up above. So it's quite a heft, and it's what's happening in a number of the communities. Michael Hubner is the director of the One Seattle plan. I have reached out to him and asked him to come speak to our community to explain the impact and why the changes. If you see the brown areas, those areas are not being impacted at all. So, excuse me. No, that's not correct.
This is not a proposal to neighbor association, it's just what's happening in the One Seattle plan.
Yeah, this is a city trip. Anyway, I am hopeful that we can have him come and speak. There are sessions that will be taking place over the next month and a half throughout the city, and I will get those posted in the newsletter and on the website. I don't think we have that information up here. You can go to these informational sessions, but it's really covering what's going on throughout the city. I've been to one, and it's really hard to ask specific questions about your community. They have, great displays and everything, but you don't get the opportunity to hone in on your community. We would love to have somebody involved in Friends of Madison Park that just focuses on the One Seattle plan and keeps us up to date. I am trying to do that as well as I can, but it would be wonderful to have someone who took on that task. And otherwise, obviously, we'll see if I get a response and he'll come. I've asked him to come December 2nd meeting. Yes.
Just ask a clarification, if you know. I'm curious, is this just a zoning change?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, though, any subsequent construction activity would have to be privately decided?
Right.
Okay.
That's correct. This isn't being imposed on us, but if a developer comes in, they can go 5 stories or they can go 3 stories.
My building owner over there would still have to decide if she wanted to bump up, okay.
Yes, or her developer, yes.
I'm not positive how far along the One Seattle plan is or what developers might have in mind for our business district in our neighborhood, but I certainly hope if we're going to be having a conversation in the next 5 to 10 years with developers about tearing down historic business district buildings and building street level retail with 5, frankly, disgusting looking levels of apartments on top of them, that everybody who showed up to this meeting to have a concern about parking.
It is still in the proposal, but I believe it is in January that they will make the decision if this this is going to be the One Seattle plan for the next 10 years. So, you know, hopefully it's a long ways out before any impact really trickles our way, but I do think we ought to be sure we have a voice for the city in this, because it's all the historic part of Madison Park that we do all care about, so. And then last on the agenda, well, I guess there are probably two things, is Triangle Park. So Triangle Park is back as Triangle Park. I have reached out to the McNays to find out what are their plans. I know that they were thinking of doing some re-landscaping. I will let you know. I did not hear from them tonight. And I know that there are there's some talk going around that now How to Cook a Wolf is trying to take over parking spaces on 42nd. I don't know of any basis for that, but I have reached out to Ethan Stoll, and hopefully I'll have answers on that by meeting as well. So our next meeting is going to be not at the end of November, the last Monday of November, because it's Thanksgiving, yes, which holiday? I've still got Halloween. Anyway, so December 2nd, Monday, December 2nd will be our next meeting, yes.
A question on Triangle Park.
Yes.
Who is in charge of maintenance now that
The McNays will be.
they will be?
Yes. It is an SDOT
Right.
property, but the McNays are going to take it.
Good.
Any other questions? Thank you all for coming. Thank you.